Okay, this is to Casino Mukul. It does support the relatedness of all things, of all physical things, like us to the star birth, let's say, is uh, does lend strength to my argument about the relatedness because of the DNA. Because this is what we have, amounts of relatedness. We can compare, we can relate the relationships. We can look at two relationships. We say, look, those two things are 5 miles apart. Those two things are 20 miles apart. And then we have 5 and 20. We can relate 5 to 20 and say which one's bigger. We're relating relationships. We can do that more and more, ever more abstractly, right? And so we start off with our strongest relationships. Do we have the most complicated relationships? Things that we share DNA relationships with are closer to us. And if it's a strong DNA relationship, then the relationship gets very, very close indeed. And the further that relationship gets, so it's not strictly based on like the number of pairs that are similarity. I mean, it's more similarity in the results. Like we don't share a lot of genetic similarity with dogs, but with domesticated dogs, in a mathematical sense, but we share a result. Our lifestyles overlap in a sense, so we have a compatibility with them, and this relationship is through our mammal, genes. So, right? I mean, would you grant that? So, it's just that we have a very strong relationship genetically, and I believe that it goes out. We have a personal identity. That's a strong relationship with ourselves. The fact that we see our parts as connected and whole in ourselves, and then our family, where there's a very strong genetic relationship, coincidentally, and then our greater community, which usually there's some genetic relationship, and then the whole of the species, which of course is a strong genetic relationship among humans, and then animals and plant life and the whole biosphere, and this is so far very strong because it's all the genetic connection. Then we go into, we have a relationship with Starbirth as well, because that's where life comes from. That's a part of the process of life. And we don't know which are the components, but we know they're out there in the material universe. That somehow the components and potential of life force, or whatever it is, or you want to call it, was in that Starbirth. That's the meaning of my reductionism. If I see the universe and all the Starbirth and physics leading to suns and then planets, and in at least one case there exists at least one X for which there's life, and that then that all, and if we were the only case, that would be really amazing. It would still have led to us, for us. But I think probably it's led to life all over, and this process leads to life, you know. And that's our connection with the physics. But the fact is that that's the connection we have with everything, and it's our loosest connection. And as we get down into things, we have biological systems and that share the same kinds of needs for similar or the same chemicals. So that's what I mean. That's to clarify and to defend the idea that, some of this relationship, when there's a genetic tie, is stronger. It's even more of a shared identity. And in a way it should be, because it's just like if a single-celled life form clones itself, does it have a closer relationship with that clone of itself, or to just some other entity? Well, of course it's closer. Yeah, that single cell shares, some shared connectiveness through the laws of physics with the whole universe that created it and whatnot, but or from which it emerged. But yeah, it's even more connected to that clone of itself. That's all I'm saying.